at the head office of Jetour in South Africa, and Nic Campbell over here, Lawrence, of course, over there. Nic, I just want some background on Jetour in South Africa. What was the decision to enter the market? I mean, another new brand in South Africa now, you know, it's sort of a scary thought. I didn't want to use that, Lawrence. But exactly that, yeah. I mean, what's it, 56 brands now represented in South Africa, I think it is?
Yeah, and growing. The brands are growing. But Jetour International took the decision to enter the South African market, one, to lead the right-hand drive production for the brand.
Okay.
Going forward, they do believe that South Africa in particular and Africa in general offers a lot of good opportunities. Compared to the rest of the world, the volume's still fairly small, but good opportunity to enter the right-hand drive. But more importantly, the vehicles that we have suit the South African market and suit what South African customers are looking for, what they need and what they want in a vehicle.
Crossover, medium SUV. I mean, what's it? 70% of the South African sales nowadays seem to fall into that category. So, as you say, you've got the perfect product for it.
But also, you were saying that Angola is one of your biggest markets.
Yeah, Angola is one of Angola, one of the biggest markets, got the highest market share for Jetour, and they won SUV of the year, I think it was last year. So already well established, doing really well.
Okay, well, the question there, how long have you been in Angola to get to market leader?
So they were one of the first countries to open for export. The brand's been alive since 2018. So if I don't know the exact date, I'd say 2019.
Okay, so 4 to 5 years is still a hell of a short period to become the market leader. I mean, it took Toyota for 20 years to get to market leader in South Africa, just as an example. I mean, the fact that they've been there for the next 40, but...
It just seems like the whole motoring landscape has changed.
Yeah.
You know, that time where it took those guys so long to get there. And, you know, these Chinese manufacturers, I mean, you know, previously that was like almost like a dirty word. It's not anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, amongst journalists, we used to like sort of diss it.
Yeah.
And now, I promise you, it's like the guys are touting it big time. The spec levels, you know, the quality of the cars that are coming, the drive that we've got.
And the price.
Very different expectations to what it was, say, 10, 12 years ago.
Exactly.
Where the Chinese market was more for local production, left-hand drive, volumes. But the technological advancements and the way that the Chinese are able to get vehicles out and to spec vehicles and those economies of scale is really incredible. But more importantly for Jetour is the ability to service the market.
Wow.
So to bring in vehicles that will suit the market and that will not just service a vehicle need, but a need for a customer for a whole mobility solution. We based our whole plan around that. Jetour Global is about the Travel Plus, which we know South Africans love. These vehicles are not just to get from A to B and to work, but on the weekends it must complement your lifestyle. So we've set up here in South Africa to do exactly that, to provide lifestyle vehicles to our customers.
Which the first two models definitely are. What's coming, we'll talk separately on that just now, but as to what's coming soon. But just going back one step, what I think is even more incredible, and I've used the term, and no disrespect, the Chinese onslaught over the last 3 or 4 years on the South African market. If you think back to the first forays by Chinese brands, no names mentioned, but they really dumped their junk on us.
Sure.
Okay.
But it was very similar to the Koreans as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when the Koreans first, I think back to a time when they were manufacturing or sort of knocking things together in Botswana. Where is the Korean brands now? They're at a different level. Yeah. But you guys, talking about Chinese brands in general, are coming in and knocking the socks off them.
Paid some school fees, I think, in the early days. Definitely learned some lessons. You're right. There were some learnings from the earlier brands that came out, but that whole landscape has changed completely. I think no one can deny that the Chinese motor industry is booming. The technology is incredible. The value for money is incredible. Just the sheer production, and we'll see it next week, which is great. I think we're all going to be amazed at it. It will be my first trip there too. But just the ability to, one, comprehend the market, two, acknowledge the fact that not all markets are the same, that you do need different products, and put something together that really will satisfy the needs of a lot of consumers. My biggest task at the moment is to get the customers that are used to those traditional brands, used to that quality, used to that, to build the trust, to get them into our brand, to come and test it, come and try it, and we'll take all the feedback that we can get.
I think where you're lucky, and I'm going to use the word, is there basically two major Chinese brands that have sort of blasted the path for you, that have become the first ones to become mainstream. I'm talking obviously GWM and Cherry, right?
Yeah.
Which have changed the South African mindset and opened the South African mindset to the Chinese product.
Absolutely, and they've definitely paved the way for it, and they've
if
gained that market
models,
acceptance.
Yeah.
If I can just come in there, maybe they haven't, as a brand, captured it, but the Beijing X55 also was a good car. You know,
category winner car of the year.
So,
exactly.
So that as well. So all over, it's been good.
Yeah, and it paves the way for us, and it's great, and it builds that healthy competition. I love the competition. You know, we all here to compete. It would be very boring if there was only 5 or 6 brands, and that it builds that competition, and definitely the market acceptance is growing. People are coming in. I mean, we've had phenomenal amounts of test drives through our dealerships in kind of the last month, which just shows that the South African consumer has grown as well, and they're also looking for other alternatives, and they're willing to test other vehicles. When we did our market research, in South Africa, there was a very, very big group of people that were ready to test other vehicles, not necessarily to buy, but willing to give them a try, give them a test. So already that's a change. A couple of years ago, it was no way, we won't, this, that, gone. But I think when brands like ours come in and we offer a 10-year, 1 million kilometer engine warranty, we back our product.
That takes courage.
Yeah,
or it says you trust your product.
We trust our product wholeheartedly. I mean, here at our offices, my parts warehouse is sitting here directly behind me. I check it every day. I know it's every day. If there is anything that a dealership needs or a customer needs, we'll have it here. If we don't, we'll fly it in. We're going to back it on not only just a great product, but also on customer service.
That's where in fact, I think that is going to be more important than anything. But now, one burning question I'm going to ask you, and I'm probably being very unfair with this question. Price. You've come in even probably at the bottom end of the Chinese brands, even compared to, I'm talking price-wise.
Yeah.
Are these prices going to hold?
Yes. The market study that we did dictated that there is a group of customers out there within the price bands that we've launched at that are willing to come in and investigate a new brand. We all know that South Africa is a tough place at the moment in this landscape. Interest rates are coming down, which is a big relief. But still, the buying power is not really there. But where we price the products, there's this term going around, buying down, which a South African consumer should never have to do. You work hard, you play hard, you want the best possible vehicle you can get for your money. Nobody, I don't think there's many customers out there that go, I can afford $7,000 on a car, but I'm only going to spend 6. They say, if I can spend 7, I'm going to spend 7.5, on their vehicles. And it's been a question we've been asked a lot about the pricing, and no, we've launched at the price where we think we can hold bar any major changes with exchange rates,
etc. I think that's great, because I think where Alan's coming from is that just recently it looks like some of the Chinese manufacturers are definitely shifting their prices up.
There has been a bit of creep from one or two. I don't want
quite
to pick
a bit
on.
Of a creep, actually.
And that's right. But now, what you mentioned about affordability, because at the end of the day, as you say, I can afford $7,000 a month for a car. What can I get for my money? And I've always believed there's a 10% margin on whatever you say you can afford. You can stretch it by 10% normally, okay? So now you've got the traditional brands. I'm going to use that word, or the heritage brands I think everybody uses. You can get, I'm not going to say which one I'm punting or anything like that, but you've got your car and an equivalent heritage brand car, and it could be a difference of 4,000 to 5,000 Rand a month between the two cars. Now, especially your guy who replaces his car every 4 or maybe 5 years. Because I'm not going to now go down this road of it's good for 10, it's good for 20. Let's not talk there. Your guy who replaces 4 to 5 years, $4,000 a month is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Unfortunately, salaries haven't increased by that much to be able to do it, and that's where we fit in really nicely as a new entrant. Is we give people the ability to buy up.
Yeah.
Right. This buying down term for me is really not on, because every brand is good now. There's hardly ever anything you find out there called a bad car. All cars are good. All cars have their strong points. Where you position your car and what you give your customer is where you win and you lose. And there are a lot of traditional brands out there who have got great spec, and due to whatever their pricing factors are priced a little bit more than what the customer can afford. That doesn't mean your customer needs to buy down. That means your customer needs to find an alternative, and they deserve to have the exact same spec as what they're used to.
Well,
if not more, in our cars.
1980s, you had to get ABS brakes and power steering, and I think an airbag. You had to buy an S-Class Mercedes. The price of an S-Class Mercedes today? I mean, it's a silly comparison, but I think it does put something into perspective.
It does, and obviously I've been around in the import game for quite a while, so I understand. The more spec you add to an imported vehicle, the more the price goes up. The difference in engines, the more it goes up. We pay our taxes, and that's all fine. And that's where a brand like Jetour has a really big advantage, is the fact that we have those economies of scale. The fact that it's growing. The term now is jet speed, which is our expansion term, which is what we want, jet speed. To increase market and increase market share in the countries that we're in, and that gives us the ability to bring in virtually full house cars. I mean, for now, our cars are fully spec'd. Going into next year, we'll have another version of both of our models, which will be one step above what we are now. We'll have some extra ADAS features, etc., extra safety features, and a higher output engine. But for now, what we brought in is two models that won't leave a customer wanting.
Nic, hold that thought. We're going to come back to the models in a minute, okay?
Hang on, I want to ask one more question. We did actually discuss this off camera, but just quickly, what was the decision from Chery not to? So they've got Jetour and they've got Amoda, right? Why did they not bring that here, or did you guys basically go over there and secure this for?
No, it's separate. Even globally, it's separate. It's separate. So you've got Chery Holdings. You've got Chery Holdings, who has a number of vehicle brands and other brands, other industries underneath it. But if we talk motor industry, we've got Chery Holdings. We've then got Chery Automobiles, which is a Chery, Amoda, and Jetour, very well established market leaders there. So then you've got a brand called Exceed, which is a higher end brand. You've got Jetour, which is another separate brand, and then there's an electric brand that does local market in there. So there's no decision making. It's how the business is structured, and that's how it is. The decision was to come in as a subsidiary of our parent company of Jetour International. That was the decision that was made.
Okay, that's great. I just wanted to sort of clear that up for the viewers.
Sure. Nic, for this one, thank you.
Yeah,
we're going to chat more.
Perfect.
Thank you. Get back to you soon.